Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this has Ben here at That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new review. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well, my friends. Happy Fragrant Friday. My name is Ben. This is That Cologne Guy. It's blurry, but you can just trust me that that's what it says. And this is the channel that welcomes you to your weekend. You've seen the title and the description, so I'm just going to keep on keeping on, as they say, with the theme of salt. And I'm finally reviewing Sel Marin by Heeley. And I will refer to it, I guess, as Sel Marin. It is Sel Marin if my French is close, but it, of course, means marine salt. And I will probably just say Sel Marin to facilitate things for the rest of the review. And this is my first time reviewing something by Heeley. And interesting because it's James Heeley, and I'm assuming he's the parfumé because he owns the house, and he is an Englishman who lives in France, and so this is a Paris house. And, in the theme of Englishmen, I think we should probably dedicate this episode to Grimsby Town, the powerhouse that it is, the fourth tier powerhouse that it is. Grimsby Town last night beat Manchester United. So, David versus Goliath. Oh, the joy of sport. In honor of Grimsby Town, I review something from an Englishman. So James Heeley, I've had this before, and I got this on Lucky Scent because Lucky Scent was, I think they still might be, but you can check. They were running kind of a sale where there was no minimum purchase for free shipping. So I got this guy for like $4, and I'm really happy because I had sampled this in the past. In fact, I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, I know I made a purchase through Lucky Scent. This might have been even a throw-in now that I think about it, but because I didn't review it, and there's just something about this one. So because it's Paris, I should say this really has a je ne sais quoi. It really does, actually, because it's one of those fragrances for me that I can't quite put my give you the words won't do it justice. There are certain things that it has, like the intangibles, that I just really like about this fragrance. There are going to be a lot of commonalities with last week for those of you who watched Le Sel d'Issey when I did the Salt of Issy by Issey Miyake, Le Sel d'Issey last week. I talked about a few things, and this one will have a few commonalities. One of them is that I really like, of course, if you watch me each week, I'm a huge fan of Acqua di Gio. So let me just say right now, this one is kind of like the niche version of it. I want to be careful with that though, because I don't mean the exact smell. I just mean if you would like to have an oceanic, aquatic, freshy that is niche quality and is niche, then you should consider this one, because this one to me is, if just to cut to the chase, is kind of like the niche. It's like the very refreshing, close to natural ingredients version of Acqua di Gio. It's kind of like Acqua di Gio for people who don't like the synthetic nature of Acqua di Gio. Again, not in the smell, but in the aquatic quality of it, and that's kind of where we're going to go with this. Also similar to last week is Le Sel, of course, d'Issey, but this one is a little bit different here because unlike last week, this one is sea salt mixed with really a lot of pop in it with citrus. So it is a different sea salt based fragrance by all means, and I would love to have actually both in my collection. So that's that. There's Sel Marin, and I did not get a year on that one, but let's dive in on the notes. So the top you're gonna get lemon and bergamot, and it really stays. Actually, this one really has kind of a grass note and like a lemon and bergamot pop that really stay there, and I really do like that. A lot of times I say something like, well, it's not very eye-opening. This one is actually, if you like that kind of fragrance. If you like citrus, you will really like this one a lot. In the mid, you get sea salt, you get moss and algae, and then, of course, in the base, you get cedar, vetiver, and musk and leather. And I would say for me, it's definitely, to get that grass note, it's definitely a real natural vetiver that I think really adds a lot to this fragrance. In fact, so for me personally, I get mostly lemon, vetiver, and a tinge of cedar and salt. So let's go ahead and get to the name. If you're saying to me this is called Marine Salt, one slight deficiency, just because I'm nitpicky, is I don't know that I would have called this Sel Marin or Sel Marine. I don't know that I would have called it Marine Salt. It's almost the other way around, right? It's almost a citrus-based fragrance with a little freshness from the salt included. It's another one like Le Sel d'Issey. It is very airy. It's not like you guys enjoyed last week. It is not the fish market smell or rotten eggs at all. And there's nothing in here. It's in fact, that's what I really like about it. I mean, it is really, really, I mean, I hate to be cliche, but it almost is like, the Mediterranean in a bottle. And so I really like that about this fragrance. So much so that I'm going to keep away. I'm going to block a few dings at the end when I give the rating because of that, because it really does have a je ne sais quoi to it. Okay, so with regard to the categories, I will remind you this is an EDP, so this is an Eau de Parfum, and this one is a unisex release. And when it comes to longevity, projection, and sillage, I would say this is a soft fragrance. This is another one that's not going to ever project a ton. So this is going to be real popular for the people who really like to wear fragrance just for themselves. What I would say though is, do you want to pay $200 for that? But anyway, I'll get to that later. The projection, longevity, and sillage are good, but just really barely. It's really more of an EDT and then just slightly more. So it's kind of in a gray area. Is it a disappointment? No. In fact, don't keep in mind though that I had to put dabs on, and then a couple times I had to use the plastic, the toy sword, right? And so I had to just kind of do this on, and it did quite well. And so I did also take that into consideration. So I'm not going to call it a disappointment. I'm just going to say it's just barely getting to the finish line for an EDP. And so, again, 6 to 8 hours, you will get a work shift. It's just that it won't ever really be a projection bomb. I can see how this would be really popular for a lot of people who work in small boardrooms, offices, things like that, because it smells really, really nice, and it also doesn't clear out a room. So the projection longevity is going to be 6 to 8 hours, and projection would be 1 meter or 3 feet from the body until, I would say, 2 to 4 hours. If you're walking outside a ton, it actually held up pretty well for me. So I'm going to stay right at the 2 to 4 mark, and then after the 4 hours, it'll really get closer, much closer to the skin. So the sillage would have been nicer to have a little bit more. As I like the ones from the United Arab Emirates and that typically have these projection bombs and huge sillage for hours. This is one that is more subtle, and so it's going to be real popular with people because of that, or not. I would say the sillage is just good enough that I do think you would get compliments, or people would smell it when you're walking by them for the first, again, 4, maybe even 5 hours. So good. Would have liked more. Could have been worse. It is. I don't know if it's all natural ingredients, but there is definitely a feel of a creed kind of element to this. It does have kind of an old school. A lot of these notes do convince me as being natural, even if they're not, and that really worked for me. As I said earlier, a lot of people look down on Aqua di Gio because they call it a quote-unquote synthetic mess. This one will definitely be perfect for you if you're looking for an aquatic citrus that is just wonderful to smell, to experience, and also has it has a very niche, top quality element to this, and it doesn't smell as like the Cologne, Calone, though, that you see in the aquatic and a lot of the 90s and later aquatics. So this one definitely stands out from the pack, and I like that about this fragrance. I have to point that out. I mean, it has succeeded in having its own identity and being unique in a very difficult market. A lot of reviewers don't like aquatics just coming out of the gates. I love them, and so this is another one that really did work for me. I seared through this guy, and so these will be faux dabs this week at the end of the review. So now, this one is a unisex release, so there's no surprise that this one is definitely one of those millennial couples that go away to a B&B and for a weekend and wear the same fragrance. And so this one would be right up your alley if you like to wear the same fragrance as your partner. This one would be perfect. So for unisex, I'm going to say this one is definitely unisex. I do feel like with the vetiver, that pushes it and has it just lean a little masculine. So I really enjoyed this one a lot. This is another one that's really fresh, be great for after the shower. And it really does have this eye-popping element to it, in the sense that it just jumps out of the little bottle. I mean, and the fragrance really has some kick to it, and I appreciate that. It has personality, and a lot of people feel that aquatics don't. So I will say, as far as gender, the percentages for me would be, I'll just go. Yeah, I've been doing 2/3 lately. Now I'll just stick with that. So I'm going to say 66% will be men who own this and have this, wanted it signature scent, and 34% will be women. Just for the reasons I said. I mean, it does have cedar, leather, vetiver, and that's really where it stops as far as like the more traditional masculine notes. But again, a lot of those really are lurking in the background. I don't know that I would have even pulled out leather from this, quite honestly. The cedar, yes. Vetiver, most definitely. Some seawater salt element. I probably would just would have thought aquatic, and then lemon and bergamot really are quite pronounced here. Smooth, well done. I think he's an independent parfumé, actually, and so way overpriced, of course, because it's niche, but certainly well done. Now age, we'll just do 18 and up, and it's just, again, because it's essentially whoever can afford it and whoever would like a niche quality aquatic. You're really in almost no man's land when you say that, because right, most aquatics tend to be the freshies for like the middle schoolers, the high schoolers, college students, the 90s, right? And a lot of people, as I said, a lot of reviewers, a lot of people in FragCom really frown on aquatics just coming out of the gates. So I would just say the fact that it is an aquatic niche already piques my interest, and I actually really like that about this one. So yeah, no age. You either like aquatics or you don't, and you either have enough money or you don't. This one is 200 smackers you're looking at for a 3.4 ounce, 100 milliliter bottle, full bottle. I do like the sleek design. I will put that in either the thumbnail or in here. But I do like the minimalist style of the bottle, and I like the anchor. Most of you know Celle Marin as the one bottle you've seen before that has the anchor on it, and so it certainly is recognizable. I like that a lot about this fragrance. So 18 and up, either you like the aquatics or you do not. Or I guess you could say, you could again say that you like just a citrus one. This one is really for aquatic lovers or really citrus lovers, I think, in the end, which is why I said I'm not entirely sold on Celle Marin as a name. I still feel like that is stretching it just a little bit. All right, so those are some of the categories. As far as versatility, let's do season, actually. This one is clearly spring, summer. I don't know that for those of you who don't wear fragrances year round, regardless, this one, I wouldn't necessarily associate, of course, or reach for this in the fall and winter. But you guys know, if you watch me each week, I'm not the kind that divides by season anyway. I just do that for the review because I just wear whatever fragrance I feel like wearing, regardless of the temperature. So yeah, this would not be associated with winter. I say that, but here's the thing though. Some people, including me, actually, sometimes I like to wear something that smells like light blue Dolce & Gabbana, or this, where it's like the Mediterranean Sea in a bottle, because it's the dead of winter, and it reminds me of something really nice and refreshing, and it doesn't remind me of winter, because I actually don't like cold climates, and I don't care for the winter at all. So I need all the help I can get to get through that season, which usually means a lot of cologne and ice hockey. Okay, so those are the categories, and then I will talk about versatility a little bit. This is another one that I think would go very, very well with a t-shirt, shorts, and flip-flops, and it'd also go well in a formal event. So props to them, kudos to them, well done in terms of versatility. So in the end, what do I do with this? Similarly to the La Selle d'Issey last week, this is another one that I did struggle with exactly for almost the same reasons as La Selle d'Issey, in the sense that I bounced between a 4 and a 5. This is another one, so forgive me for repeating from last week, but this is another reason why I like to have the 6th bonus spray that I give out, because you can still talk about points in a fragrance that you don't like, and yet they can still get a 5 out of 5 rating. In other words, it's not so much that I take points off, it's just that I keep it from getting the elusive, highly coveted, highly sought after 6 out of 5 bonus spray from That Cologne Guy. And all 18 of you agree. So that's what we're looking at. I have some points here, but I just don't feel like they're enough to get me down to 4 out of 5. I feel like it's the other way around. I feel like this is a 5 out of 5 again, but I think that here are the points I'd like to note that keep it from getting the elusive coveted bonus spray. So it's too expensive, $200. This guy would be just utterly fantastic, about $120. You start looking at $200 sent to your door. It's a little pretentious. It's Paris House and all that kind of stuff. It's a niche company, so you're going to pay more. I'm mildly annoyed by that. And especially because I don't mind the synthetic nature of Acqua di Gio. You like Acqua di Gio, you just won't admit it. It's everyone puts it down, and it just keeps on selling and selling. It's just an incredible fragrance, and I don't care if it's synthetic. All right, the longevity barely convinced me. I was extremely close to docking a point. But I did not, because number one, I took into consideration it did quite well, and that's with a little sample, so I feel like it would do great with the bottle. And even with this little guy, though, it did better than I thought it would. It's just that I said it's very soft from the very beginning, though. It's going to be a huge hit. I could see this one definitely being a signature scent for a lot of people, because it just has that very smooth, quiet confidence that a lot of people really like. So longevity barely, and then the name is a little quirky, right? The bottle looks great, though. Sel Marin, I love the name. It's just that the sea salt note, the algae, just in the moss. It's just enough, not enough. I would have liked more when it comes to that, to call it this, but that's just me being nitpicky. When you see the bottle, a lot of people go, yep, I know that one, I remember it, and that says a lot for a freshie, an aquatic fragrance. So you have to give it to it. So instead of docking a spray because of these points, I'm going to keep it at 5 out of 5, and I'm going to say those points just stop it from getting the elusive 6 out of 5. You say what you want, but you remember this fragrance. It really does have a unique, memorable smell to it, and that's why I have to go 5 out of 5. I really enjoyed wearing it. I told you before, another intangible is like, when I go to the gym each day, put on fragrance. Sometimes when I'm reviewing, I'll think, I'll even skip a day. I'll think, let me go back to something that's in my collection, and I kind of bounce around. When I know it's a 5 out of 5, and maybe even a 4 out of 5 that I'm wrestling with, I just can't wait to put it on and wear it throughout the week, and it's a true joy. And this one really was. I burned through it, and as I said, these are going to be faux dabs because there is nothing left in there whatsoever. It was a fun 2 weeks with Le Sel d'Issey, and then I went ahead and finally, after all these years, I finally reviewed Sel Marin or Sel Marin by Heeley, and it was really fun to do. I would love to have the bottle. It's another one where it would be great for presentation purposes to have it out. Again, it's got the anchor on it, and that's all I want to say. Do you like this fragrance? What do you think of this fragrance? I'd love to hear from people that also, if you've sampled it, great, but also if you have a bottle, let us know what your thoughts are. And if you don't have anything to say about this one, you just enjoyed my sheer good looks and charisma, you can always let me know your scent of the day / week, anything. I really enjoyed that. In fact, I got a comment in another video actually last couple days ago, like I said, on an older video, and he put like different scents of the month that he was wearing and stuff, and I sat down and for about 15 minutes and went through Fragrantic and checked out all the fragrances that he had noted, and that was just so cool to do. I really appreciate that each week. One of the highlights of this, besides doing the review, besides doing the recording, I love knowing what you're wearing. So let me know if nothing else. So again, these will be faux dabs, and I will go 5 out of 5 for Sel Marin by Heeley. Boom. 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 And I'll go inner elbow for one. Just these are faux anyway, but I just couldn't resist. 5 out of 5 for Sel Marin, and the dog agrees with me. You see how intense she got after I said 5 out of 5. Yep, she's gonna make her bed. So that's 5 out of 5 sprays for Sel Marin Heeley. Let me know the year. Maybe I'll check it out later. In fact, I don't have too many bloopers anymore, which I'm kind of bummed about, actually. So in the bonus feature, I might quickly try to find a year online before I actually upload. If not, let me know. You guys take care. Have a wonderful week. I hope you're doing great. Thanks for always sticking around to the very end. And always remember, my friends, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. And always remember, my friends, Grimsby Town beat Manchester United.